Okay, everybody, let's recap the lesson. Today, what we're doing is we're making sure that we have all of our special right triangles in our, or on our unit circle. Okay, so we know the special right triangle is 45, 45, 90 triangle. If the radius is 1, then these two sides are equal. They turn out to be square root of 2 over 2, square root over 2 over 2, which gives us a coordinate point on the circle of square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. And then we put all of those triangles into our unit circle into all three quadrants. Okay. We also looked at our 30, 60, 90 triangle. We knew that this side was 1/2. This side was square root of 3 over 2 if the radius was 1 or if the hypotenuse is 1. So we have a coordinate square root of 3 over 2, 1/2. And we put all of those in the unit circle as a 30, 60, 90 triangle in all four quadrants. Okay. Then we looked at the 6-degree angle, and same as this. So the radius is 1. 1/2 square root of 3 over 2, which makes a coordinate of 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. And we put all of those in our unit circle for our 60-degree angles, okay? Now, the tangents are a little bit more tricky because the tangents are going to be the y over x. So what I did is we took a look at all of these values, the y over the x. So that's obviously 1, okay? And we took a look at it and we put all the tangent values for 45 degrees, for 135 degrees, for 0 or 180, for 225 degrees, for 315 degrees, and we got all the basic ones. Now tangent at 90 degrees is undefined because you go 1 divided by 0, you can't divide by 0, and tangent is undefined at 270 because -1 divided by 0 is undefined. Now the other thing we put in here were the triangles where you've got the square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2 turns out to be the square root of 3. If you go y over x, we put those in our unit circle also at 60, 120, 240, and at 300. Then we also looked at if you happen to have this triangle and you have the 1/2 over the square root of 3 over 2, and that turns out to be square root of 3 over 3. After you divide and rationalize them, we put those triangles in our unit circle too. Tangent of 30, tangent of 150, tangent of square root of 3, tangent of 210, and tangent of 330. So I put all my tangent values on my unit circle, but I put them in a value of all my green values, okay? Now, if we know that, then we can find a lot of these values just from our unit circle. So sine of 30, sine is the y value at 30 degrees, boom, answer is 1/2. That's it. Cosine of 315 is the x value at 315, here's 315. The x value is square root of 2 over 2. Tangent of 180, tangent of 180 is the y over the x, which is just 0, okay? Sine of negative 30 degrees, that's a negative 30 degrees because it's a rotation, negative 30 degrees. We want sine, which is -1/2, okay? Cosine of 420, well, it's all the way around 360 plus an additional 6 degrees, so it's really here. I want the cosine, which is the x value, is 1/2. Tangent at 90, we talked about, it's undefined because it's 1 divided by 0. And then we turn the page. Sorry about that. Now you can see it better. On the back side, we just more of it, except for it's in radians. So sine of 3 pi fourths is right there. The sine is the y value. It's going to be negative, it's going to be, square root of 2 over 2. Cosine of 5 pi 6, the x value, here's 5 pi 6, negative square root of 3 over 2. Tangent of 2 pi thirds, 2 pi thirds is here. Luckily, I did my tangent values. It is this value over this value, turns out to be negative square root of 3. Sine of negative pi halves. Negative pi halves is here. I want the sine, negative pi halves here. The sine value is -1. And then, let's see, cosine of 3 pi, there's 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. I want the cosine, which is the x value, just -1. I wanted tangent of 3 pi halves, which is here. Tangent is undefined because it's the y over the x, which is divided by 0. I can't do that. Okay, then finally, we're getting there. Example 4, I want to find an angle that has a y value of 1 in radians. It's right there, y value of 1, the angle is pi halves. A y value of 1, the angle is pi halves. I want to find a cosine value divided by 2, divided by 2. I want to find a cosine value, which is an x value of -1/2. So what's the angle? So 2 pi thirds has a cosine value of -1/2, so the angle is 2 pi thirds. There's another one also. at 4 pi thirds, but we'll take the one that's always closest to 0. Okay? Tangent of -1 happens 3 places. It happens here, an angle of 3 pi fourths. It happens here at 7 pi fourths. Or if you were to go backwards, it's at -pi fourths. You really have 3 angles, but the one we want is the one that's always closest. Okay? 5, we just use a calculator. But when we got to B, we had to change our mode. Remember, we got a mode button in our calculator. I changed my mode to radian modes and used my calculator. And then I did this one. I did the radian mode. I got a 2.6. Okay, so that's all I have. And if you need any help, come see me. There's the homework right there. I drew a picture of what C looks like. That's all I got.